It is true, obviously, but it is also boring. Is this Rhaegar plus Joanna equals Tyrion? This is what Cersei thinks, and who wants to agree with Cersei? Joffrey had a food allergy. Hi, I'm Sophia, and today I'm going to be chaotically tier ranking A Song of Ice and Fire theories based on how cool they are, because some of them are really cool even if they're not true. My credentials are that I'm chronically online and chronically in this fandom. I've read all the A Song of Ice and Fire books multiple times. I've seen the show multiple times, and I'm currently partially doing my master's dissertation about Game of Thrones. And in my undergrad, I made a special edition of Game of Thrones that for my editorial class that you can read. Well, you can't read, but I can read. So yeah, did I also mention that I'm chronically online? But yeah, I love these theories and I love this fandom. And yeah, I'm gonna put the tier list in the description and the creator because I found it and it's perfect. So yeah, let's go through the tiers first. The first tier I called A Finger in the Bum. A finger in the bum. This is for the theories that I very much dislike. And I don't want to go over because just like the line from the show that it's one of the worst lines from the show. And then the second tier is called A Bowl of Brown, which is like, it's for the theories, the ones I'm not really very much into and don't really want to go over, just like A Bowl of Brown. And then the third tier is called Sir Hugh of the Vale. No one's favorite character, no one's least favorite character, no one feels very strongly about Sir Hugh of the Vale, I don't think. Yeah, it's for the okay-ish theories. And then the fourth tier, or the A tier, is called Breastplate Stretcher.
Go find the breastplate stretcher!
One of the best memes in this entire fandom. The S tier, best tier ever, is called Ned's a Pigeon. Because that's my favorite, like, crackhead theory from this universe, and I love it, and it's an honor to be put amongst Ned's a Pigeon, according to me. Anyway, so let's start. First of all, Jojen paste. I love Jojen paste. I think Jojen paste is true, and I'm gonna put Jojen paste. Should I put it in Ned's a Pigeon? Because I think this is really strong, like for the cannibalism aspect of Bran's story. Should I put... I'm gonna put Jojen paste in Ned's a Pigeon. Then Euron assassinated Balon. Well, I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. Whether he did it directly or did it like through someone else, I do think he's sort of responsible for it. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. He did it in the show, but we don't talk about that. Anyways, Alera's is Sorella. Yeah, this is Breastplate Stretcher because I think it's true. It's almost like too obvious. That's why I'm not putting it in Ned's a Pigeon because, like, duh. You know? It's not like very much of a... It's a no-brainer once you, like, put 2 and 2 together. Anyways, Fagon's Blackfire. I really like this theory. I don't think we're ever gonna get the Winds of Winter, unfortunately. I do think this is true. I would like it to be true. In my head it's true. I'm gonna put it in Ned's a Pigeon. I think this is a very well made theory and it's cool as fuck. So, Daenerys is Azor Ahai. This is very popular. This is a lot of people's opinions. I don't really like one person being Azor Ahai. I like the idea of Azor Ahai being the friends we... I really like the idea of Azor Ahai never being a real person, being like a myth that we put on people, like whoever you deem is Azor Ahai gets like the reputation and gets like the people behind them, and that's the power of Azor Ahai, is having the backing of the people, not really being a deity or anything like that. So I'm gonna put Daenerys as Azor Ahai and Sir Hugh of the Vale. I'm actually gonna put it in A Bowl of Brown, along with Jon as Azor Ahai, because I feel exactly the same. And then Jaime's Azor Ahai. I think Jaime's Azor Ahai is better than Daenerys or Jon being Azor Ahai. Not that I think it's true, I don't think it is. I just think it's more of a subversion of the trope of the Chosen One, and more of what George would do. So I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. It's slightly better. Not that it's true. Sir Pounce's Azor Ahai. is obviously Ned's a pigeon, because I love that this fandom has ran out of material for so long and is just insanely getting by making up crackhead theories. Obviously, everyone knows this is not true, but this is fun. We're having fun, and that's what matters. The Stannis night lamp. These letters are very tiny, and I don't have my glasses on, so bear with me. The night lamp theory. I used to be a very, very big believer in the night lamp theory. I think we've gone over it for so long that now it seems less plausible. But I don't think George has thought about it for as long as we have. And I think it's still pretty plausible. And I think I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher. Now, Jon will be resurrected. Look, I'm not a really big fan of Jon being resurrected. I think it cheapens from the death aspect of his story. At least resurrected as regular Jon. I don't think that would happen. I think if he were to be resurrected into a person, we'll get into the other option later. If he were to be resurrected into a person, it would be like a sort of a Lady Stoneheart situation where he's sort of a ruthless killer, like out for revenge and blood. So I'm gonna put Jon will be resurrected in a finger in the bum. Sorry. Jon will not be resurrected. I think this is more interesting. I think this is more fun. It's like it's less about what people expect, but not in a subversion for subversion's sake. It makes sense for Jon to kill the straight man, for lack of a better word. So I'm gonna put Jon will not be resurrected in a breastplate stretcher. And then Ramsay Bolton wrote the pink letter. Because we've gone through all the options and they have been proven and disproven over and over again, people just come back to, well, maybe it's just Ramsay. Maybe it's the most obvious one. I'm not sure about it. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale for now. Okay, so the Faceless Man caused the doom of Valyria. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. Because I think it was never meant to be something that would be explained at any point. Even if the books were to be finished, I don't think this would be discovered. I think the ambiguity is what George was going for. Serial Pharrell is Jack and Hagar. I don't think this is true. And that could be still cool if I don't think it's true, but I don't really like our theories of everyone is secretly someone else, in disguise or with a different face on or whatever. And I don't think this is particularly cool because we already have so many hidden identities. We don't need more hidden identities. I'm gonna put it in a bowl of brown for sympathy. The Grand Maester conspiracy. Oh, this is the theory that the Maesters are conspiring to get rid of dragons. I like this. I think this is Ned's a pigeon. I was gonna put it in breastplate stretcher, but I do really think this is a plausible series arching conspiracy that's not focused in a single period in time, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's cool as fuck. And it can be applicable to the World of Ice and Fire, to the main series, to the Dunk and Egg stories, and that's fun. And also Fire and Blood, obviously. And then Jon is his own father. I never heard of this before, but I do find the who's are Jon's parents theories really exhausting, just because we've been talking for so long. And I'm gonna put Jon is his own father in Sir Hugh of the Vale. I can't put it lower because I think it's funny, but I'm not gonna put it higher. Anyways, Jaime is the Valonqar. Excuse me for my pronunciation. I think this is fun. I think this is the expected outcome of the Valonqar theory. It didn't used to be. It used to be Tyrion, right? That's what Cersei thinks. But we've had a long time to talk and to think about this. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher. This is a solid unifying theory, I think. Some people think it's Arya Kill me, please. Tyrion is the time-traveling Targaryen fetus. This is an old one. This is not true. I don't like everyone being someone else. I'm gonna put it in a bowl of brown. Sorry. And then the White Walkers aren't really evil. We don't know much about the White Walkers at all in the books, but they do like killing. I don't know how to feel, because I think it would be very George R. R. Martin for this to be true. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. Sir Hugh of the Vale is filling up. The Great Northern Conspiracy. Okay, question. Is this the conspiracy that wants to put Rickon on the throne or Jon? Because if it's Rickon, I like it a little bit better. I don't think there is any plausible scenario in where the North would unite to put Jon on the throne. I don't think that would happen, especially when he's in the Night's Watch. I don't think so. Even if he is named in Robb's will, which I don't think he is, and that's coming up next. So I'm gonna put the Great Northern Conspiracy. I do think Manderly and Umber, I think, are doing something. I think they are. We know what Manderly is. I think Manderly's doing something with someone, but not like Grand Northern, like everyone, including Howland Reed, who's gonna show up finally. I don't think so. Sorry. So I'm gonna put it in finger in the bum or a bowl of brown. I'm gonna be nice and put it in a bowl of brown. And Jon is Robb's heir. I don't think it's true. I read somewhere that it was Catelyn, and I think it's Catelyn because that's how it reads in the book. I don't think it's Jon at all. And I think it's more thematically cool for it to be Catelyn, given that Lady Stoneheart has has Robb's crown. Jon is Robb's heir. Finger in the bum. Not for me. I don't think it's cool. R+L J. This is the oldest one in the book. This is, honestly, I think this like somewhat birthed the fandom and birthed the community. A lot of people got into the community through this theory. So this theory has a lot of goodwill because of that, on my part, because, well, it's a gateway theory, I would say. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. I think it's very Luke Skywalker, chosen one sort of situation. Do I think it's true? I think it probably was true, and now probably George is very frustrated by everyone thinking it's true, and the show also doing that because like they spoiled his story, I guess, and now he might change it actually, which I wouldn't be opposed to. Obviously, I'm not a huge fan of this theory. Again, like Jon being a secret Targaryen prince and like coming out of death to be a savior of humanity is completely off and not like the type of story that we're reading. So I'm gonna put it in a finger in the bum. Not sorry. And then Sweet Robin is Littlefinger's son. I think this is true. I don't think we're ever gonna find it out, but I do think we have enough clues to think that we have Jon Arryn's infertility that he had before Lysa. We have Sweet Robin looking nothing like Jon Arryn and looking very much like Littlefinger. There's a lot of people that think he was a botched abortion, that she tried to abort the baby and it didn't work, and that's why Sweet Robin is a little sickly. I think it's the werewood that he's sitting on. I don't think it's that, but him being his son I think is true, and I don't think we're ever gonna have like a big reveal for that. So I'm gonna put it in Ned's a pigeon. Sansa is Littlefinger's daughter. What the fuck? No. This is not cool. I don't think. This is just bringing in more incest into the story unnecessarily. This story does not need more incest. It will probably have more incest. Well, if it did continue, it would have probably more incest. But we don't need it here. This is already pedophilia. We don't need incest as well. And it doesn't make sense timeline-wise. And it doesn't make sense geographically. And no. Like, no. A finger in the bum. Bolton Roose is an immortal vampire. This is fun. This is a fun theory that isn't true. And I kind of like it because it's so camp and it's so insane. And I can't believe someone thought of this. People you know, people are grasping at straws, and I respect that. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher out of respect for creativity. Oh, I have this hat that I got when I was 7 at a zoo, and it's a wolf. I'm gonna make 7-year-old me proud. I'm gonna wear it until I can't stop laughing at myself. Let's do some. Okay. The Frey Civil War. I don't think the Frey Civil War is gonna happen because I think most of them are gonna die in the Battle of Ice. And I also, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Frey Civil War. Bull of Brown. And then Euron Greyjoy is Daario Naharis. This is fun. I don't think it's true, but the first time I read it, I was like, who thought of this? This is so fucking funny and fun, and it weirdly lines up really well. Still don't think it's true, but I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher because I respect it. And then Sam has the Horn of Winter. Sir Hugh of the Vale. Southern ambitions. This is a theory that like Rhaegar Stark made alliances with the southern houses to like gain power over the whole kingdom, warding Ned in the Vale, trying to marry Catelyn to the older brother, and everything like that. And I think this is breastplate stretcher. Yeah, I'm confident in that. Jon will continue living through ghosts. This is one of my favorite theories that I want to be true. In my head, it's true. I think there's such a gothic horror element to it, and a very George R. Martin thing to do. Imagine like we would get the Winds of Winter and no Jon chapters. Jon is dead, and then like the epilogue is Ghost, and we understand that Jon has warged Ghost before he died, and he's stuck there forever because he can't warg back into his body, and he just has to see everything unfold without him being really able to do anything much. So yeah, this is Ned's a pigeon. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones, and this is cool as fuck. R+G equals T. Is this Rhaegar plus Joanna equals Tyrion? Though we have never heard of it before. I don't like it. I don't think it makes any sense. Like, I know the one like Aerys plus Joanna equals Tyrion. Rhaegar. This is so out of the blue and so weird. I'm not gonna put it in a bowl of brown because like I want to hear more about it. I want to hear some arguments about it. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale because I'm on the fence. Like, not that I think it's in any way plausible, like in terms of timeline or anything, but I am intrigued. Consider me intrigued. Poison locusts. This is a bowl of brown. No, it's Sir Hugh of the Vale. Okay. Robert Strong is the mountain, also known as water is wet. Imagine if he wasn't. Imagine if Winds of Winter actually dropped and Sir Robert Strong is just a guy. He's just some other guy and the mountain is dead. No, okay, so Robert Strong is the mountain. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale as well because it is true, obviously, but it is also boring. Clegane Bowl is finger in the bum. I hate Clegane Bowl. This marvelification of A Song of Ice and Fire that I don't stand for. This is not a WWE fight. This is not what the story's about. Summerhall was to birth dragons. Well, I always thought this was true. I'm gonna put it in Ned's a pigeon because I like it. We've been given a small piece of information about Egg as a king and how he died and everything, and we ran with it and made a very plausible and probably true theory, at least on my book. Arbor Gold equals lies. Sir Hugh of the Vale. N plus A equals J. So this is Ned and Ashara equals Jon. This is like, it's a lot of people think this, and this is what Catelyn thinks, I think as well. I think this is fun. More fun than R+L equals J. I like the idea of Jon actually being Ned's son, like after all the theorizing and like Ned would never forget his honor, whatever, and then like he actually would. because I do think that that thing of Ned being super honorable is not as true as the fandom would like to believe. And I also think the show influenced that. I can't look at myself. I can't without laughing. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in breastplate stretcher because we've circled around. We've gone through all the options of Ned not being his father, and we've circled back to, well, maybe Ned is his father, and that's funny. Tyrion is the Valonqar. This is boring, and this is what Cersei thinks, and who wants to agree with Cersei? Finger in the bum. Daenerys will go mad. Finger in the bum. I don't think this is true. Only, like, if it is in response to Aegon, maybe it would be true. Okay, I'm gonna put it in a bowl of brown. Like, if Aegon takes over and then Daenerys finally comes to Westeros and second Dance of the Dragons, that's what probably would happen. And she might go a little cuckoo, but I don't, like, it doesn't seem at all that that's where her character is going in the book. Like, there is the chance, given Aegon. Quentyn Martell is still alive. This is a Preston Jacobs theory. Big fan of Preston Jacobs, and I do believe this because I think Quentyn, like, I would like to believe it at least, because I think Quentyn is too much of a good character and too much of an interesting character to be gone like that so easily. I think he has more to offer narratively, and I think we shouldn't be done with him yet. I'm gonna put it in, you know what? I'm gonna put it in Ned's Pigeon. Ramsay castrated Theon. This is based on the show, probably. I don't feel strongly about it. I feel like it would, like, very needlessly gratuitous in the show, like most things are in the show. I'm gonna put it in a bowl of brown. Sam is the main character. Sam is the George R. Martin insert. He has mentioned that he is the character that's most like him, and this is cute. I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher. So, Mance Rayder wrote the pink letter. I think the Mance theory is interesting and is very fun. And out of the pink letter writers, like possible writers, I think Mance is the coolest one that isn't Ramsay. So, because Ramsay's, you know, not as fun, it's the obvious option. So, breastplate stretcher. And then Daenerys is a fire white. It's because she was fireproof for that one scene. But that was like a blood ritual. That was like a one at a time miracle. I don't think she's a fire white. I think it was just like the blood magic. I'm gonna put it in bowl of brown. A Song of Ice and Fire is sci-fi post-apocalypse. This is also Preston Jacobs' theory. I'm 99% sure. And I think this is very fun. I think it explains a lot of things that were described in the book, like Storm's End looking like a nuclear power plant, I think. And I think it also aligns with George's dislike for being trapped in specific genres or like literary genres. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in, you know what, I'm gonna put it in Ned's a Pigeon. Yeah. And then New Aegon is legit. So New Aegon is actually Aegon. No imposter, no Blackfire, not a random dude. No, it is Aegon. No, I don't like it. I think, again, we've circled back around. We went through all the possible options for who Aegon would be, and we've circled back. It's actually him. I don't think so, and I also don't think this is super cool. I think it's cooler for him to be this leader and be inspiring and uniting the people while being this imposter and not being who he says he is. I think that's more interesting, like the true leader that he can be, and while being a random dude. Not necessarily a random dude, but like not being royalty. I'm gonna put it in a finger in the bum. I think this cheapens the story. Robb was given love potion. No, Robb was not given. He was 14 or 15. He got seduced by this hot chick that was healing him. That's it. Like, he's just a horny teenage boy that was stuck in a room with this super hot chick that seduced him, and then he felt bad and he married her because honor, I guess. So no, a finger in the bum. Joffrey had a food allergy. I love it. No, Joffrey was definitely poisoned. I think this is funny though. So I can't put it in a finger in the bum because it is funny. Like, after all of it, all the possible killers, all the theories, he was just allergic. He would have probably found out earlier if he was allergic to pigeon or to the cream on the pie, or the wine. He would have found out earlier, guys. I don't think you've thought this through. I'm gonna put it in a bowl of brown because it's too funny to be in a finger in the bum. Ned Stark lives as a pigeon. Where else would it go? Continuing. Jon warged into Grey Wind. I love this. And for what we know, it's probably true. Like, it's his last words. Like, I don't have much to say. I just think this is cool as fuck. Probably true. And very sad as well. Because that means Robb died twice. Very violently. But from what we know of the story, most likely true, this goes in Ned's a pigeon. Varys is a black fire. I've been really sold on this before. I've sort of gone back a little bit, like to try to reevaluate the situation. There's a lot of hints that he might be a black fire, so I like it. I really like it. I think it makes sense for the Aegon storyline. I think it makes sense for a bunch of things about Varys, for why he was castrated, why he shaves his head, all of the shenanigans. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in, you know what, I'm gonna put it in Ned's a pigeon. Big fan of this one. Olenna poisoned Joffrey. This is the canon in the show, I think, right? It's not like super groundbreaking, so I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. And then Bloodraven wants to take Bran's body. This is interesting. It might be true. I think it probably is. It feels like the Bloodraven thing is sort of a consciousness. And like, once you start time traveling, you kind of lose your identity and you become Bloodraven because you become completely detached from your humanity and your reality if Bran starts time traveling, if that happens. So I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. And then Ramsay Snow. Ramsay Snow wrote the pink letter. Wait, who did I put it for? Oh, it was Barbary Dustin. I fucked up. I read it wrong. It was Barbary Dustin who wrote the pink letter. In that case, well, actually I'm gonna leave it in Sir Hugh of the Vale because I don't think it was Barbary Dustin. And I think we're starting to grab like at its straws. And for Ramsay Snow, like I mentioned, like it's what I mentioned before, and I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale as well because it is like the most basic one. It might be true. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Would it be super interesting? Not really. But you know, at this point, we've gone through all the possibilities. Tyrion poisoned Joffrey. I hate this, and it makes no sense. And it's not even funny or cool. Finger in the bum. And then Cersei poisoned Joffrey. This also makes no sense, but it's a little bit more fun because what sort of dissociation would Cersei have to go through in order to poison Joffrey? Like, would she be jealous of Marjorie's influence and be like, I'm taking power for myself again by killing my favorite son? No, I'm gonna put it in a finger in the bum as well. And then Joffrey poisoned himself. This is going right next to Joffrey had a food allergy. It's funny, it's not true, and I find it hilarious. Poisoning Joffrey was a group effort. This is a sort of Murder on the Orient Express sort of situation, and I think this is going in a finger in the bum, because like plausibility is not existent in this theory, because once you start involving a bunch of people in this plan, you start losing control over it, and it has every chance to go wrong. People would snitch. Like, you can't involve more than 2 or 3 people in this plan, and thinking that would be more completely not plausible. Someone would snitch. And then A Song of Ice and Fire is set in the Lovecraft universe. Well, George has said that it's not in the Thousand Worlds. It's probably not in the Lovecraft universe. I'm gonna put it in a bowl of brown because it is creative and not super lame. Robert Strong has Jaime's hands making him the Valonqar. I've heard this before. I'm not sure that would be plausible given that Jaime's hands probably rotted already. Yeah, I don't think this is true. I think him killing Cersei is fine. It's not super uninteresting. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. Rhaego is alive. No, I don't think Rhaego's alive. Sorry. And I don't see how that would be interesting. I'm gonna put it in finger in the bum. Tormund, Giant Bane, Hex-Mage Mormont. Okay, so this is like, because he allegedly slept with a bear, it wasn't actually a bear, it was Mage Mormont. This is fun. This is funny. I think this is a very cute theory that doesn't really affect much of the story itself, but it is hilarious. And I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher. And now Joffrey and Tommen are legit Robert's sons. Funny. We've really ran out of things to theorize about. But it is hilarious. So I'm gonna put it in bowl of brown. There must always be a Stark in Winterfell, except when there isn't in the show. I think this theory is allegedly about the White Walkers, right? I think this theory is gonna go in Sir Hugh of the Vale, because I need more information. Stannis Baratheon wrote the pink letter. I don't like this. I think this is ass. And I don't think it fits at all. It doesn't make any sense for Stannis. N plus CL equals J. This is Ned plus Cersei equals Jon. What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense also timeline-wise. I don't think. Is this based on the weird flirtation that happened in book 1 between Ned and Cersei? I'm not a big fan of this, but it is unhinged, and I can appreciate an unhinged theory, so I'm gonna put it here, a bowl of brown. Ned plus Catelyn equals Jon. This would have solved a lot of problems in Jon's life. I think they would have been much happier, and of course not, because if Jon was legitimate, then he would just be legitimate. He would just be the second son. This is ass. Finger in the bum. Jorah is Azor Ahai. I've heard a lot about this. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's particularly interesting or cool. I think it is a theory, and I'm gonna put it in bowl of brown. And Euron is a fraud. Ooh, I think this is really cool, and I think it is interesting. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Euron is a really big question mark. I would like to have more information about it again. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. So I wouldn't mind this being true. I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher. Lemongate is great, and they sort of hint at it in House of the Dragon, and I thought, like, are they talking to us who are believers in Lemongate? Yeah, this is Ned's a pigeon. Robb warged Catelyn. What? I don't think so. Was it like the Red Wedding, like before he died he didn't go to warg Catelyn? Can't think of any other possible situation. No, finger in the bum. He's not that powerful. That's Bran. Bran is the powerful warg. Like, Robb just wargs Grey Wind. Roose Bolton is the rat cook. Roose Bolton in the fandom is such an unhinged character and has so many different headcanons from different parts of the community. I feel like we've gone rogue when it comes to Roose Bolton, and I'm not gonna stand for him being the rat cook. Finger in the bum. Red Wedding 2.0. This is like killing all the Freys and stuff like that. I don't know how that would be orchestrated. I don't know how you can get the Freys all in one place. You can't. There will always be Freys left. Sorry, that's not happening. And then the ones who would survive would go out for revenge. And no, Bull of Brown. Varys is a merman. Yeah, this is Ned's a pigeon. This is iconic. This is one of the oldest ones as well. It's not true. I don't think it's true. I just think it's so fun. And it also was a little bit of a crack theory that got a lot of people into the community through fun theories. And I respect it for that. Euron was a former student of Bloodraven. Yeah, I like this. It's awesome. And I'm a big fan of it. I think it's true. So here we have it. And Ned's a pigeon. This is a huge tier list. Lyanna Stark was the Knight of the Laughing Tree. This is probably also true. It has become so true in the fandom that it has sort of become boring, like R+L equals J. But this, I think, is less boring than R+L equals J. And it's a very minor detail, like, to be honest. It only creates the situation where Rhaegar and Lyanna would meet alone. So I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. Okay, so the Florent rigged Renly's armor to kill him. I don't think this is cool or true. Or does it matter because, well, Renly's dead. He has been dead for quite a while. I don't think this will come to light anytime soon or in any way. Sorry if it were true. Tyrion was the target of the Purple Wedding. Yeah, this is incredible. I really like this. Yeah, this makes so much sense that Littlefinger would want to kill Tyrion in order to get rid of Sansa's husband because he wants Sansa to not be married. Joffrey eats Tyrion's pigeon pie, so the pigeon pie would be the one that was poisoned. Big fan, goes right into Ned's a pigeon. And then Mance Rayder is Arthur Dayne. No, not everyone is someone else, but I don't hate it. Like, I think it is creative and it is a little bit interesting trying to go over the information for that. I've done that. I've come to the conclusion that it's not true in my mind at least, but I think it is a fun theory. So I'm gonna put it in, actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna put it in a bullet brown because it's not like super lame. A plus J equals J plus C. So this would be Aerys plus Joanna equals Jaime and Cersei. This is much better than Aerys and Joanna equaling Tyrion because I really like the theory that Tywin's kids that he doesn't hate are the ones that aren't actually his, and Tyrion would be the only one that would actually be his kid. That's very George R. Martin. That would be definitely something he would do. I don't think it's true because I don't think the timeline fits, but I'm gonna put it in breastplate stretcher because thematically it lines up with the story that we know and George. Mormont's Raven is being warged, skin changed by Bloodraven, I assume. Yeah, this is cute. A spying device, I guess, for Bloodraven a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. I don't feel very strongly either way about it. Loras isn't that hurt. He's just very dramatic and faking it, and he doesn't feel like getting up anytime soon. Well, this is funny. I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't really care. I think it's funny. Untommen. Untommen is also going in Sir Hugh of the Vale. I will not explain further. V plus I equals FA. I have no idea what this is. No. V plus I or V plus L equals FA? Oh, it will come to me probably. Like eventually. I'll leave it there. Mountain is a good guy. Is this coping? Is this brain rot? Is this... What is this? Finger in the bum. Okay, so Frey Pies. Is this the Manderly, the Wyman Manderly thing? This is fun. I don't think we would ever find that out if that did happen. I just think we were supposed to speculate on it. I think that's very fun and very gruesome. It is sort of on brand. A little bit too gratuitous, I would say, maybe. But I'm gonna put it in Sir Hugh of the Vale. Okay, so last one. Brandon Rivers is the Three-Eyed Raven. Yeah, I've heard some people saying that this is not the case. Like, let's not overcomplicate things. I think the story is complicated enough. And yeah, this is going in Sir Hugh of the Vale because I don't feel super strongly about it either way. So here we have the final tier list. Thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun doing it, and I hope you had fun watching it if you're still here. And do it yourself too. It's in the description down below, and thank you so much for watching.